My adopted brother felt ostracized by our parents now that he grew up.
You got a time limit on your parents' love.
Ostrich.
My parents have 5 kids, 27 female, 26 male, then me and my twin and our adopted brother are all 23. And we are 23 female, me, then 2 23 males. John was adopted when his bio parents, who were close friends with our parents, passed away when he was a few months old. By the way, this comes from Tiara FU. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. So, this has been a slowly building thing for years now, but really got called to everyone's attention in the past 5 years. I remember growing up with John normally as any siblings would, and all of our other siblings say the same. We played, we fought, we made up, we broke our parents' crap. The past 5 years have been somewhat strange, though. At first, we thought it was just John being John. But now, after I've spoken with him, we discovered it was more than we thought. First off, John left the day he turned 18, wow, which was a surprise because he had good grades and everyone assumed he'd go to college like the rest of us. He graduated 1 semester early and left the house on his 18th birthday, which was a shock to everyone. He earned money doing chore work for our dad and uncles and had bought his own car and apparently saved enough to get an apartment. It was weird and my parents were sad, but more than that, they were proud and happy for him. Dad offered John money to help him start out life on his own, but John refused and said, "You'd be fine." My parents were insanely proud of John. They're not typically the brag about my kid kind of people, but they were telling everyone how independent and responsible and mature and fearless John was. Now, it's important to note that us siblings were always fairly close. I cried the first night John was gone and wanted my dad to figure out a way to make him come back because I was scared he passed away or something. So when the communication suddenly was almost nothing, it was weird and we missed him, but our parents said that he was busy working and taking care of himself and that when he settled and figured things out, he'd be back to his normal self. It never happened though. And he also stopped really talking to them. He talked to us around birthdays and holidays, but even then it was strange. He always tried to meet up with siblings for dinners or drinks on birthdays, always visits our parents very quickly on their birthday and Mother's and Father's Day. And on Thanksgiving and Christmas, he's in and out. For example, our older brother was the only one there when John was there for our mom's most recent birthday. And he said John was very clinical in that it felt more like a soldier was paying respect to a commanding officer than anyone visiting their parents. One thing about this that stood out was that John talked to our mom and dad and brother about a lot going on in his life. Apparently, he's got a girlfriend and just got a dog and has a great new job in construction. No one knew any of this. And dad cracked a joke about how they were terrible parents because how could they not know anything about what was going on in one of their kids' lives? After John left, our mom looked sad, and when our older brother asked her what was wrong, she said that it felt like John didn't want to be around her and that she missed him before she refused to say anything more about it. So our older brother started a group chat with everyone but John to ask about if anyone had noticed anything wrong with him. We'd all talked about how distant he'd been over the years, but never like this. At the end of it, we all arranged to meet up with John and try to talk to him to make sure everything was okay. It took some effort to get him to open up, but he finally did, and what he said really rocked our family. He said that I'm not their real son. We all immediately tried to reassure him that mom and dad loved him and we do too, but he had all these stories about how mom and dad treated him differently. There were a lot of examples. Things like older brother would hug or kiss mom on the cheek, but she'd push John off if he tried the same. Dad would happily talk sports with anyone, but would be short with John. Our grandparents were never excited to see him. Aunts and uncles not interested in him or his hobbies or what was going on at school. One incident where dad asked each boy to go on a hunting trip and never asked John until they were leaving. And when he did finally ask, you could tell my dad was annoyed, and my brothers did confirm this one because they thought it was weird how dad acted too. When John said he was fine with not going, they said dad looked happy about it. So maybe John's not imagining things.
Yeah, maybe like the parents or the other siblings didn't really notice because, you know, they still loved him just the same. But obviously from John's perspective, it was not that way. That's so sad.
And also he's probably, you know, I mean, not to kind of mitigate any of the experiences that John has had, but he's also probably hyper vigilant about noticing them because he's kind of already this out to himself. He thinks he's an outsider
from being adopted.
And then he's like, okay, let's find all the things that prove that.
I can understand if it feels uncomfortable coming into a family where they already have kids. Like if you're being adopted into it and you kind of maybe don't trust right away that you are accepted, and then obviously, you just notice these little things that confirm that.
Yeah.
So sad.
John would ask for help with schoolwork. Mom or dad would say they were tired or tell him to ask teachers, but they'd stay up with the rest of us. You get the idea. There was a lot of stuff, and enough of us witnessed it that we don't think he was misremembering things or making them up. John wasn't bitter or angry about this. He said that he understood that they wouldn't be able to love him the same way they loved us, and that it would be inhuman of me to ask that of them, which broke my heart. He said he refused the money from dad because he would have felt badly about him using it on him instead of his real children.
What?
He said he would always love them and respect them and be grateful for their sacrifices in raising him, but that it was too painful to be around them for too long because he knew they couldn't be what he wanted and that he couldn't be what they wanted. Our oldest sister was impassioned by this and told my parents about it. It was a crap show. Mom crying, dad punting a wall. They're both ashamed and hurt and insist that they love him just as much as they do the rest of us.
That sounds like the best way to prove that always.
Yeah, punch a wall.
Like, wait, you think we don't love you?
He's like,
what are you talking about?
I'm sorry,
what?
you love me, you love me. Like, what? I mean, it doesn't
so
seem like they're doing
scary.
that in front of John, but
those are insane reactions to that.
That is not how you show that you love this kid.
Mm-mm.
And I mean, you can always try to make up for the actions that you have done in the past, but you may have permanently lost out on that relationship with him.
I wonder if the siblings can rekindle their relationship.
I hope so.
Yeah, because it's not their fault, but if it doesn't feel the same way with the parents, then maybe not. Maybe it's best to move on.
Now that John knows our parents know he's upset, he's apprehensive about coming around, which is understandable. We love our brother and our parents love him too, and we all miss him. How do we fix this? Editing to add, I just learned from her that apparently mom had a talk with John and asked him if he had any improper feelings about us, which, holy crap, if nothing else, made him feel like an outsider. That did. And there is an update, but yikes. What a weird question to ask, like, this son that you've kind of raised alongside adoptive siblings.
Yeah.
But
what was the question again?
She's basically asking him if he was into any of the siblings.
Oh, what?
What? Which is such, when he was younger, I think.
What?
Which is such a weird question to ask a child who's been raised as a sibling.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh my gosh.
Like, unless, like, I doubt there was any, reason that she asked. Like, I don't think he was probably doing anything.
Sure, of course.
But it's just a weird question.
It just kind of is more proof of like how the mom viewed the kid.
Yeah,
and which is like not necessarily as equal as the other kids.
She may have loved him, but it wasn't as a son.
Yeah, not in the same way, at least.
No,
it was like he was their ward. He was the Euron Greyjoy of the family.
Yeah, exactly.
Update. The first people I wanted to really talk to were my parents. I didn't share everything John shared with us in the thread I made, but there were so many things they'd done that were just downright cruel. This conversation was fairly quiet and extremely emotional. I only write adopted brother here because I want to communicate with people reading, but in my heart, he's just my brother. So when I detailed the things John remembered, I began to cry, and it hurt even more because I almost wanted my parents to deny. I wanted them to be sure they'd never done anything so mean, and that maybe John was remembering things wrong. They never denied anything, though. When specific instances arose, you could see them turn their heads or eyes away in shame. They'd get up and pace, put their heads down. Never a denial. When I asked them, most time they say they didn't realize they were doing something or that they were too careless. They kept saying that there was no excuse for it. You just can't. I mean, you can apologize now, but you're never going to get that relationship back.
Yeah.
Because the all of the, bonding moments you've already missed out on.
Yeah, exactly.
I asked my father specifically about the fishing trip he didn't invite John on. He said that he'd asked the other boys and it just never crossed his mind to go out of his way and ask John.
How is it out of your way to ask one kid but not the others?
How? I asked them both why they didn't help him with homework or make sure their 18-year-old leaving had a solid plan and would be safe. I never got a response on that. I asked my mom about why she pushed John off when he tried to be affectionate towards her, and her response is the one that really leaves me at a loss. She was very honest and said that in her mind, she couldn't ignore the fact that he was a spicily mature man who was not biologically related. Gross. Gross.
Who is saying this?
The mother.
This mother.
This is the second she is, like, I don't know how else to say this. I'll say schmexualizing.
Yeah.
She is schmexualizing this child.
Yeah, her child.
Repeatedly, she has brought up nature's, like, you know, oh, are you attracted to your siblings? Oh, I feel like I can't hug this child.
Yeah.
Because he's an adult man.
Oh,
that you've raised.
That is
raised
crazy.
him.
Who let this lady adopt a kid?
I don't know.
Great question.
I don't know. She does not deserve to.
Mm-mm.
She said it felt no different having my other brothers hug and kiss her as babies as it would today, but that around the time John went through puberty, she couldn't see him as one of her babies anymore. She said her instinct then became to protect her daughters just in case. Disgusting.
Oh my gosh.
Disgusting.
Protect the son.
I suggest getting a bear to move into your house.
I suggest that she get a therapist.
Yeah.
She
All
said
of the above.
Yeah.
Well,
She said it was hard and she wasn't happy about it, but she'd rather have protected us and gone too far to John's detriment than been lax to our detriment. Or you can just be a good parent.
Do what you signed up for when adopting a whole child.
She said when John left, she felt relieved. After talking with them, I spoke with my older sister, who is still very angry. Same with our siblings. We all, the siblings, love him and want him back in our lives like before. We don't want to lose him. I reached out to John, and it was a bittersweet conversation to have. We both were happy to be talking to each other. We still have our inside jokes and things like that, and we can hang out like nothing ever happened. But when we spoke about reestablishing our old relationship, he said it would be difficult. By the way, you know what's not difficult? Listening to full episodes of stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. And there is a little bit left.
Mm-hmm.
But do you have any final thoughts?
My thoughts are ew and gross, and you should not have been able to adopt anyone, and ew and
Those are my exact thoughts. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that the thing that's getting me is there's like the disconnect that like the only kid that could have done any of these things she's worried about is John, just because he's adopted, where it's like actually any one of your
literally
kids could have done that.
There are so many, I mean, like awful, but there are so many instances of blood relatives being predators.
Well, that's why you got to keep your eyes up.
Well, no, that's why.
Parents,
that's why you
it's not just
parenting
the
all of your
adopted
children.
kid who's
Exactly.
Right.
the prime suspect.
Yeah,
Right.
I'm sure. Like,
Just
and also
weird.
if that's again, not saying that John would ever do this, but like if you want to prevent any of this from happening, ostracizing your child certainly is not like the best preventative measure.
Absolutely not. And then also too, it's like it's not even the fact that she's like just worried this is going to happen. She's kind of decided for herself that this will happen. Like when he left, she was relieved, you know, and it's like, give him a chance, man. You have the chance to parent him away from that.
I agreed. But there is a little bit left to this story. He said he would love to be my brother, but that he felt gross around us girls because of mom, and that he feels like less than around our brothers. He said that loneliness sucks, but that it's better than feeling like people would rather not have you around. He said he felt like a family friend that everyone liked, but who stuck around too long. Oof.
Dang.
Ooh. Ouch.
Dang.
We both ended up crying. It was very ugly. We at least decided that we try as siblings.
Wow.
And that's the end of that story, folks.
I refused to use my student loans to pay my mother's tax bill. She got furious.
That sounds like her problem.
I'm starting graduate school in January, and I will be moving to a new country soon, in about 3 weeks. I've always wanted to get a master's, and last year I made the decision to pursue a degree abroad, mostly because the country I'm from has no development in the field I am interested in. By the way, this comes from Student Mom Advice, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So now, Graduate school costs a bunch of money. And although my family has always been well off, I have 2 younger brothers, both still in college. Moreover, my father's business took a bad hit in January, and he is still recovering from the losses. When I told my parents about the plan, they told me it wouldn't be possible for them to finance my education because of the reasons I just listed. I understand that parents paying for you is a gift, and I thanked them and went about looking for student loans. I wrote all the admission exams, did well, and was admitted to a really good school. Everything went well. I was accepted for a loan for about $80,000. Wow.
Dang.
My mom's father left her and her brother, my uncle, a significant bit of inheritance, and recently my mom and uncle got involved in a tax problem with a company leasing out the property that was left to them. Long story short, the company hadn't paid the applicable tax, and the government contacted my mom and uncle about it, since they are the owners of the building, and asked them to pay up. This tax is also a significant amount. Last week, she said that she wants to pay her share of the tax from my student loan. I am pretty hesitant because I want to use this loan as little as possible. When I start classes, I'm going to work part-time, and I'm also going to look for a teaching assistantship to make some money. I told her that I'll think about it. Which brings us to today, where she brought it up again. I asked her if she would pay back the money that she would be borrowing and the interest, and she said that yes, once the company pays back my uncle and her, she will. Yeah, I don't trust that.
You have to ask yourself is why is a bank not giving them a loan?
Yeah.
And why should you not give them a loan either?
Exactly. Because it's all going to fall on you. And we can't even, first of all, we can't trust the mom and the uncle. Second of all, we can't trust this random company that's doing all this tax stuff. It seems suspicious. I don't know all the details of their tax thing, but it doesn't feel exactly right, I guess. So I would not trust them to pay back your loan for college.
Yeah, and also I would just be like, sorry, those I can't. Those are for student, You're like, it's for college.
Like, no, not your loan. Get your own.
Yeah, you say the government is looking into it right now, so
yeah,
you don't want them looking at that.
Exactly. I asked her why they aren't suing the company because they are pretty much violating their leasing agreement, and she said that they don't want to get involved in the legal hassle.
Seems like you're creating other legal hassles.
Yeah. Plus, the deadline to pay the tax is March of next year. If they don't, then they will lose their building. She could see that I was hesitant, so she said that in case the company doesn't pay up, she can dip into her savings, which are around $60,000 in cash, not including deposits or other inheritance, and my dad's savings, and she can pay me back.
Then do that.
Yeah. So
then do that now.
So then I said, why don't you pay off the tax from your savings and get reimbursed from the company later?
Yep.
Yeah. You're totally bringing an OP that does not need to be involved at all.
Yeah. Stop trying to steal your child's money.
Yeah. The company has to pay up either way. The amount of money owed is around $15,000. This is when she got mad at me. She started saying that she has been independent all her life and has never had to ask money from anyone, and I should be more understanding.
Thing is, you're not asking for money that OP has. You're asking for money that the government is giving to OP.
Yeah, that's got interest on it.
Got interest that OP has to pay off.
Yeah.
This is not money that exists in OP's account.
Right. And it's just the argument of I never asked you for anything. Can you just do this one thing that I'm asking you now? It's like, I've never asked money from anyone in my whole life, so can't I just ask it from you now?
Angie, I've never asked you for money before.
Yeah.
Please give me $1 million.
See, I can't do that. That's
I literally never asked you for money,
but
Angie.
You're asking me now. That's the problem.
Oh, man.
She doesn't get it. Her savings are her retirement plan, and she doesn't want to use them at the moment. She got pretty snarky and told me that if I'm going to be this selfish, she can make other arrangements. Then do that.
Yeah,
perfect. Do that.
Perfect.
Here's the thing. I worked for 8 months and saved up money, which I used to pay for all my examination fees, the college application fees, my ticket back home, loan processing fees, literally everything. I did this because my mom and dad told me that they won't be able to pay for my education, and I did everything in my power to make sure that they wouldn't have to spend money on me. And now she got mad that I wouldn't let her take the tax money from the student loan. While I do trust her to pay me back, until she does, all the money will be gathering a lot of interest, which I'm not sure she is going to pay back. And I do not want that to burden me. I should also mention that they were contacted about the tax around January this year, and my parents still planned a very expensive family vacation this year. I was really against this idea and said that they should save up for the tax thing.
That's wild.
Yeah.
They're paying money for other things. They don't even have that money.
They don't.
Yeah, I would say, oh, well, it seems like you're able to still go on this vacation, so I don't think I need to help you.
Was I wrong to be hesitant? How do I keep enforcing this boundary with her? I feel bad now that she's upset. I need your advice, Reddit. And adding this because I forgot to mention, she told me that she doesn't want to do this, but she's asking me because it's a problem. I understand and empathize. My dad's business is taking way too long to recover, but what gets me is that she has the savings. Why can't she just use them now and get reimbursed later? Edit number 1. Just clarifying because I should have mentioned before, the inheritance was mostly property and fixed deposits. There wasn't much liquid cash. The property is still there, obviously, and the fixed deposits are there too. I checked the papers. She just doesn't want to use them. Her savings converted to the local currency is not a bad amount at all. I put everything in USD for universality. Got another edit. Let's see. Shall we read that, or do you have it? What are your thoughts before we get into the edits?
My thoughts are: do not give your parents your student loan money.
Yeah.
No. No. N-O.
Edit number 2, thank you everybody for your insight. I just wanted to add an update as I have been thinking a lot since I made this post on Reddit. I agree with you all when you say that it was not right of her to ask and put me in a spot like this. When I made this post, I was feeling guilty for making her feel bad, but since then, I feel bad that she would A, be possibly hiding something from me, as some of you suggested, B, consider putting me in this situation and react that way when I offer solutions. That is all I wanted to say for now. I shall update again soon, and we do have a little edit as well. I made the last update and went to bed soon after and was not expecting so much support. Thank you everyone for your advice. I've read all the comments and definitely agree with you all that loaning her the money will be a bad idea. Someone said that my father does not know, and I suspect the same. Oh, interesting. I'm going to talk to him about this and see what he has to say. I didn't even think about that.
What?
Talking to the dad? Seeing if he knows about all this?
I thought he was in on it.
It was the mom and the uncle. So the mom and her brother. Yeah.
Little
yeah.
scam artists.
I believe so. Thank you once again to everyone who took time out to comment. Sorry for the long post. You don't ever have to apologize, OP. But we do have an official update. Update. Yeah, this all just sounds a little fishy.
Dude, this is like what the scammers email you about. They're like, hey,
Literally.
can you send us some of your loan? And you go, wow, that's a scam.
Yeah.
Just because it's your mom doesn't mean it's not a scam.
Exactly. Don't click on any links that she sends you. I want to update you about the events that happened after I made my first post. First of all, like some of you suggested, I talked to my father about my mother's demands. I suspected that he did not know, and I was right. He thought it was ridiculous that she asked me because A, it would be illegal if I agreed, like many of you said.
Yup.
And B, it's not right of her to put me in that spot.
Yep.
He then told me that he has offered her a gamut of options to solve this.
Really quickly, can I just say, I love that his 2 points are that it's illegal and wrong.
Yeah.
It's illegal and bad.
Which are the 2 most obvious points?
Yes, absolutely. He then told me that he has offered her a gamut of options to solve this problem, lawyers to take legal action against the company, a former director of the company whom he knows and who may be able to get my mother in touch with the correct person, and even letting the government know that the company has been breaching of the contract. But apparently she has not shown much interest in any of those solutions because they require effort and time from her side, which makes him think that she is hiding something, which most of you thought, and I would have to agree. Yesterday, the topic of my loan came up, and I firmly told her that it is illegal and neither can I afford it, so she shouldn't hope that I am able to help her. I did say that I will help her figure out legal options or even the best way to take a loan to pay off this debt. She's my mother and I do love her.
Yeah, scam artist.
You love a scam.
You love a scam artist.
This summer on TLC, my scam artist mom.
That being said, I should have mentioned that she is a self-absorbed person.
What?
And the sad part is that she doesn't even know how her actions affect others. My brothers, both 19, told me that they had told her repeatedly that it was a very bad idea to take an expensive vacation with this looming tax problem. She didn't listen and did what she wanted. And you should listen to us because we've got more full episodes of stories just like this one on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, whatever you so choose, whatever podcast app is your favorite. Just search OK Storytime. We will be there. Listen to us. It's what you want.
What you want.
I know you want it.
It's what you want.
And there is a little bit more to the story.
Yeah.
But I am so glad that she's standing up and not letting this happen.
Yeah. I mean, again, a lot of people get swindled by family members because they're family members. And you're like, oh, well, I got to trust my family.
Yeah.
No. Trust the legal system. Well, maybe you shouldn't trust the legal system all the time. But don't trust them.
Yeah.
Don't trust your mom, your swindling mom.
Exactly. Again, so glad that the dad is like, hey, that's illegal, dude.
That's
like,
illegal and it's wrong.
And it's just wrong.
And it's just gross.
It is gross.
It's just gross.
Fraud is bad.
Fraud is bad.
But like this fraud is really bad.
Yeah.
Totally. Don't defraud your own children.
Yeah. It's not cool.
Please.
It's so not in.
It's so last year.
Last year.
Jeez.
Defrauding your children?
Yeah. Ugh. Ew.
So gauche.
So 2000 and late.
Yeah.
There is a little bit more to the story. I thought over her actions for the past few years, and they are indeed very self-centered. The money that she makes every month is more than the combined salary that both parents of some of my friends make, and yet she is always complaining about money. She's living under some illusion that someone will rescue her from this crisis, not realizing that she has to take some action. I don't mean to rant about her, but it saddened me a bit to know that she is so reckless with her money and then considered jeopardizing my education. Again, thank you for everyone for your advice and support. And that is the end of that story.
Well, there you go.
There you go. Yeah, this mom. She's just running away from her problems.
Yeah, go pay your freaking debts, man.
Yeah, man.
Or like, I don't know, hound the company until they pay you your $15K.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why do you need all of OP's student loans?
You really, really don't.
You don't. You just don't need them.
Yeah. But that is the end of that story.
My father demands his gifts back after finding out they're high value.
What about finders, keepers, losers, weepers?
I, 19 male, was gifted my dad's sports card collection for my 18th birthday. He had boxes of them from when he was growing up. I started looking into how you could get them graded. I finally shipped the best ones out a few months ago and just got them back last week. By the way, this comes from Appropriate Skill 32, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So, I was happy to see how highly some of them were graded. I researched what these cards would go for, and my jaw dropped. Put your guesses in. What are we thinking? How much are they?
Each one is $500.
$500? Wow.
What's the answer?
Depending on the vintage, like how old the cards are and like how high they're graded, like who the players are, you're talking about thousands of dollars.
Oh, really?
Like thousands.
Dude,
like,
she's rich.
Man.
I think the most expensive card I saw come into the store that some guy just randomly brought in was like, I don't know what I have. It was like a $15,000 Michael Jordan signature card.
Ooh.
Wow. That's crazy.
This money would help me pay for college, and I would still have a decent amount left over. I was visiting my parents, and my dad mentioned something about those cards. I made the mistake of saying how much some of these cards were worth. He didn't have much of a reaction that night. The next day, I got a long text from my dad saying that he gave it some thought and wanted his cards back. The money would help him and my mom pay for their dream vacation. I thought it was a joke, but he was serious.
Well, when you put it that way, my college is irrelevant. We need to send you to Barbados.
Vacation? Who cares about my education? I told them sorry, but they were a gift, and I intended on using this money for college. Since then, I've been getting hurtful texts from my parents telling me how selfish I am. That's funny. It's insane.
So then, do you guys want to help me pay for my college?
Yeah, it's like, who's paying for the college?
Yeah.
Who's doing that?
Yeah.
They say I'm an a-hole for wanting to sell these cards because they were a gift, even though they would do the same thing if I gave them back. I plan on getting my dad a cool gift for his birthday with some of my money, but I'm starting to think he doesn't deserve anything at all. Am I the a-hole? And there are some relevant comments and an update, but what say you? To pay for college?
And then some?
Exactly, yeah.
Then some.
Yeah.
There's
valuable.
Be like, the last story had a loan of $80K for college, so it's can be way over that.
Relevant comments, normally not the a-hole, depends in the situation. Have your parents been financially supporting you? Edit, not necessarily an a-hole, but I'd be cautious. Creating a divide between you and your parents might not be worth it, but is it worth going into debt?
But hold on,
Yeah.
time out though. He's not creating the divide.
Also, yeah,
it's
he's
the
not
dad
creating it.
that's creating the divide by being shamelessly, selfishly, give me back the things that are worth money
Again,
right after he found out that they were.
Let's just put this, just imagine someone gives you a gift and you're like, oh my God, thank you. And then they come back 2 weeks later. Not that they came back 2 weeks later, but they come back 2 weeks later, hypothetically. And they're like, I want that back. Give it back to me.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
You don't do that. You can't just take back a gift.
Yeah. I agree.
OP says they paid for a little under half of my first semester of college. Other than that, I support myself. Deleted says, were they going to continue to help with college? Because if yes, they now have that money to save up for their dream vacation. OP says, I doubt it. They were pretty pissed at what school I chose. Might have been an excuse to get me to pay for my own college, but I don't know. This situation kind of has me rethinking everything. Who, not Mike Jones, says, not the a-hole, and I think it's good to mention, if you know about sports cards and getting them graded right now, it's not cheap. Last time I looked at Panini for grading, it was $150 per card.
Oh, wow.
Just make sure you check comps before selling. Don't let anyone rip you off. Also, please use PayPal for payments. They'll have your back if you get scammed. Unfortunately, there's a lot of scamming in the card world. Peanut Buttercup says, info around how much are the cards going for?
Oh, boy.
How is your relationship with your parents? Do you like sports? Trying to see if your dad was well-meaning when he gave them to you. It's a gift he gave you, and it's kind of crappy to ask for it back now that it's worth more than sentimental value. The most expensive card usually sells for about $50K.
That's
Wow.
That
one
is
card.
Much more than any of us said. I'm like,
Yeah.
we said 1,000.
We said like thousands, but that's a
Thousands?
bit
And so,
more.
because that card is worth $50K, it is true when you send that in to get graded, that's going to cost you like $700 or $800.
Yeah.
Gosh.
Once they determine it's worth that much, that's how they charge you.
Oh. OP mentioned that when he sent these in for grading, he only sent a few of them. He just sent like the best
best one.
cards. So there could be so much more value in the rest of them.
Absolutely.
It's
My
crazy.
relationship with my parents is usually good, but has gotten worse over the past year. They wanted me to go to a school closer to home, but I didn't. I'm still in state. I love sports, so I guess I would understand why they're upset if they weren't planning on selling the cards for themselves. And there is an update, but OP, you are not the a-hole. They're trying to take your money that you're not again, I mean, they gave it as a gift, so really just messed up in general, regardless of what you were using it for to ask for it back.
Mm-hmm.
But you're using it for school.
Yeah.
Most parents would be over the moon to find out that their child doesn't have to take on debt
Yeah.
to go get an education.
Exactly.
So just the fact that your parents are focused more on their dream vacation than you getting a good education is very telling.
Yeah.
There is an update. First of all, thanks to the majority of people saying I'm not the a-hole, there was some everyone sucks here, and a few you're the a-hole sprinkled in, but thanks for the input. I didn't want to lose my relationship with my parents over this, so I decided to compromise.
Okay.
My idea was to keep the cards and handle the sales myself. However, I would communicate each sale with my parents and come up with a fair split to pay for college and their vacation. I told my parents we could meet up on Monday and discuss the situation. Unfortunately, they continued to pester me over the days leading up to our talk. Apparently, having to work on Mother's Day was just an excuse by me to avoid talking to them about cards.
Ugh.
By the time we met, I was pretty tired of their crap. I could be the a-hole for this, but I decided to test them. I lied and told them they could have the cards if they paid me back the cost of getting them graded. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, they would at least have to do that.
Yeah.
At the very least.
Yeah, say, okay, well, if you want the money, then you should grade them.
Yeah.
You should be a
have to do that
participant
too.
in what I had to go through to get them,
Exactly.
priced that way. When I told them the price, they didn't believe me. I was accused of lying to get more money out of this, and I realized it wasn't worth proving it. They wanted everything, and there was no compromise to be made. I told them not to contact me and that I'd only be around to see my brother and go to other family events. So that's how it went. Glad they care more about the money than me. I've been trying to keep together, but it's been hard. Thankfully, my girlfriend has been around to comfort me. She's the best. Maybe I'll use some of that extra money on a vacation for us. Haven't heard anything from other family yet, so I don't know how this is all going to play out. Guess all I can do now is work on getting those cards sold and hope for the best. Relevant comments. Kranosh says, split the money with your brother, keep it in your name, but earmark the proceeds for both your college educations. Opie says, I've definitely thought about doing that. He's still a few years away from finishing high school, so maybe that will be a good graduation gift. Update 2. Earlier today, I had my first family party to go to since everything went down. I guess word kind of got around about what happened because I had some family members ask me if I was all right over text. At least they're not like, how dare you not give your parents money?
Yeah.
Like, at least they're, seemingly a little bit more reasonable.
Right.
My parents were not at the party while I was there. Not sure if they showed up at all. Everything seemed to be fine with the rest of the family. Nobody treated me any different. Well, clearly your parents have a reputation in the family.
Yeah.
But we have a reputation for having full episodes of stories just like this for you to listen to. If you go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime.
That's right.
There is a little bit left to the story. Any final thoughts?
Just same kind of thing. I think that would be pretty cool of you as like a big brother move to just like give your little brother some money for graduation, because that is a typical graduation gift. Is like
moolah. A little bit of money. Yeah. Well, sometimes it can be like I got vacation money. That was kind of like everyone chipped into a fund.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So sometimes that's a good graduation gift. You can kind of talk to them about it and say, hey, do you want this to go towards college? You want a vacation?
Yeah. That would be pretty cool.
But there is a little bit left.
Okay.
In my last post, people were telling me to save some money for my brother, which was a great idea. I'll have to do that in secret when he graduates. Yeah, don't tell your parents.
Yeah, definitely.
I've decided to do even more and start building a sports card collection of my own. I can pass that down to my own kids one day. I definitely feel better now that this hasn't affected the relationship with the rest of my family. I'm excited to take some beach trips with my girlfriend so I can relax this summer. Also looking forward to selling those cards. I promised a few of you to send pics of my cards, so if you're reading this, please remind me. This is probably my last update, so thanks again for the support. And comments. Comment 1 says, money always brings out the worst in people and messes up family relationships. Reply says, that and the reading of wills when one of my paternal great aunts passed away. People threw fits because they were given a smaller part of the pie or none than they had expected. There were a lot of furniture pieces that we were hoping to keep within the family. However, we ended up having to sell almost everything and buy ourselves what we wanted to keep, all because some people were greedy and wanted a few bucks. We had a gorgeous antique pie safe that one of my cousins wanted to keep as it had been owned by my great aunt's parents or grandparents, so real potential to become a family heirloom. But by the time it was all over, he didn't want it anymore because it would have just reminded him of the nastiness. Ironically, buy what you want to keep was how my grandmother avoided the stupid fights. Her will went roughly, all sentimental objects that have sufficient quantity to do so are split up between the kids and grandkids. Executor goes through the house and puts a price tag on literally everything else, with the help of an appraiser if need be. All family members can come to the house and buy whatever they want to keep and or negotiate with an executor, or have a bidding war if two people want the same thing, including the house itself if someone actually wants it. After that, executor has a yard sale with all the prices remaining intact, no family allowed. Executor sells the house if no one in the family bought it. Executor takes all the money earned from all previous steps and splits it 7 ways among my kids after paying estate expenses.
That's honestly really interesting. Like you'll get that money back, or like at least some of it,
Well, no, it would so all of the money, that is being like all of the furniture and stuff that's being sold, instead of having to everyone fight over what they want, it just is split up between all the kids.
Yeah, that sounds great.
You'd think this would be possibly contentious, but fortunately everyone trusted my dad, who was the executor, to be scrupulously fair about the whole process. Comment 2 says, plus how crappy of a parent do you have to be to lose your kid over a dream vacation? Comment 3, they want to go on vacation and he wants to pay for college. His parents already don't support him, and now that he did the work getting the cards valued, they want the money. Pathetic. Yeah. But that, folks, is the end of that story.